Well, hello everybody, welcome to this live video from Retford in the UK. I'm Louise Daniels, I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'd love to share some of our wonderful products with you tonight. All sorts of exciting things happening at Stampin' Up, and I've been completely thrown that it's daylight here in the UK because we've had our spring forward, the clocks changed last weekend and it's actually light. And I suddenly realised it was 7 o'clock. Hi Lorraine! So tonight I'm going to share with you something that, to be perfectly honest, I skipped over in our little mini catalogue, the one with the purple cover. And I had a look, and I looked again, and those of you who joined us for the global retreat will know that this paper quite well. But I hadn't really looked at it, and then I started playing with this one of the stamp sets. It's part of a suite. I have got the punch but not the other one. Hi Elizabeth. And I thought, actually this is really nice. So tonight I'm going to share with you from the Regency Park suite, the Regency Park DSP and the Sentimental Park Stamp. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn my camera around and hopefully show you one or two interesting techniques and cards that we can have a go at with this paper, which of course disappears at the end of April, so if you want some, get some now. One or two different tips. I haven't done the gilding yet, Elizabeth, because I've lost mine, so I need to order some more. But anyway, so this is the stamp set I'm going to use tonight. It's called Sentimental Park. As I've put in my description, it really does offer sentiments for everything. And there's two different fonts which I actually quite like. They work well together. We've got Thanks, Thinking of You, Let's Celebrate and Dear Friend. A lovely great big, oh there's three fonts, You, and then Your New Adventure, For, Anniversary, Graduation, You're Amazing, Happy Birthday, Your New Baby, Best Wishes, Just For, and Love. And then some very interesting flowers and leaves, all the wonderful things you do. And this little stamp here, which I didn't know what it was for until I played with it, and you'll see in a minute exactly what you can do with this stamp. Now without further ado, and don't forget to let me know you're watching, I'll show you some of the papers. They're all double-sided as always. This comes as a 6-inch set, so you have this one. I do find the colour combination quite interesting, but I'm going with it. So we've got Shaded Spruce, Balmy Blue, Petal Pink, Mango Melody, and Sweet Sorbet as well, and Night of Navy. They're all double-sided, so we'll go through this side, and they're quite floral, and they're also quite tricky because, as you can see, some of the colours ways change, so you think you're looking at the same thing twice, but you're not. There's the Sweet Sorbet coming in, and they've paired that with a little tiny white flower. There's a green one, and then if I flip them over, you'll see on the other side they're actually, hi Mum, they're quite nice backgrounds. So without further ado, I'm going to pop those over there safe out the way. They also came with a lovely navy ribbon and an embossing folder, which I haven't actually got. It's a cane weave one, but I've got one that I've used instead, and these milky dots, which were in three colours: the blue, the yellow, the navy and the silvery grey, which have been really useful. So I'm also going to use various punches. So first of all, I'm going to bring in, which one shall I do first? Let's have a think. What shall I do first? I think I'm going to do this one first, because this one, all I did, wanted to show you that you can use things you already have. So all I've done is taken a ordinary piece of white card, like so. Just pop that out of the way. I've then done one layer in Night of Navy, so here in the UK that would be 10 by 14.4, and then remembering I said I took a different embossing folder. This is the Sweet Sorbet, which is the red from the flowers from the paper. It's the in colour glimmer paper, and I've embossed it with the spots. So the first job I'm going to do, let's see which of these glues is actually working tonight. I'm going to stick some glue on the back of this embossed piece, as I've said before, do use plenty of glue on your embossed things. And I'm going to, well, you can decide while I'm doing the next layer, are we going to have the ombre effect going from pale to dark, or dark to what, I don't know. So, and then what I've done is I've just moved that out of the way. I've got an ordinary little piece of white, basic white. I've used the punch that goes with this suite. It looks like this. This is the Petal Park punch. And first of all, I've punched out from the paper some of the flowers you can do like so, and some of like so, and some of the flowers I thought it was quite pretty just the other side. But I also wanted to show you, I'm just going to grab the stamp set, because the one stamp I really like is this little one down here, and I'm going to grab it like so. I'm going to grab a block, and I'm going to, oh, I didn't tell you the colours. I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. So first of all, take this piece out of the way, tip those little punched flowers away, and you'll see as soon as I stamp, as always, I'm just going to check that we've got a nice colour, and I'm just going to stamp some of these top and bottom of my paper. And then I'm going to grab a block, grab the Sweet Sorbet ink, move the navy one out of the way for a moment, and let's have a think. Let's have a think. Let's have Thinking of You. No, actually, no, we won't have Thinking of You. We'll have Thanks on this one. We won't, because I've just lost it again. I've got Thanks. Here we go. So I'm going to have Thanks. And what you do with these stamps, it's really very clever, and it's quite a nice thing to show you how it works, is so you pop one sentiment on like so. You can see that, Thanks. And I'm going to then bring in the little bar that says For. And like all these polymers, just pick them up from the table so you don't bend them. Thanks for. You can see it's quite sweet, that. I've lost the little sentiment that says what it says. Where is it? Thanks for this one. All the wonderful things that you do. So I'm going to pop it on there, and let's hope I've measured it properly. There we go. So you can see how it's really easy to build up a lovely, unique to you sentiment. Now, before I just simply attach that to the front of the card like so, because it looks quite pretty like that, I'm just thinking I'm going to add some of the punched flowers as well. So first of all, I'm going to bring in some, I've eaten those as well, dimensionals. And those of you who are watching, I know one or two of you have let me know your colours that you'd like to see come or go. We're all getting quite excited because tomorrow we're going to get brand new colours. There's a colour refresh, so some colours are coming back, other colours are going. So, like so. And then I'm going to pop some of the milky dots in the middle of these flowers, and you'll find they actually fit perfectly, like so. And put the blue one on down there. Now, and I'm going to put three more up at the top. And one more like so. Oh. And then I think I'm going to, let's have a see what it looks like. I'm going to use some of these punched flowers to add to it. What do we think? Bigger flowers or not? Big flowers or no little big flowers? I don't like that piece on there anyway. I must have jiggled the punch because they do fit. I don't know whether we need them. What do we think? I've got a little blue one somewhere, I have. Little blue one down there. Do we need the punched flowers or not? Yes or no to the extra flowers while I glue this on? Yes or no? It's quite pretty like that actually. Yes or no? Shall I put some extra flowers on it that I've punched out? Or leave it just as is? That's the Sweet Sorbet Glimmer paper. The stamps from the Sentimental Park, some Night of Navy. Prefer it without the flowers. Okay, then that's what we'll do. I do too actually, Elizabeth, so I'm going to take those away. I might use them in a minute. Right, so there was my first card, which I hope you enjoyed. And then the second thing I'm going to do is to bring in this. Now I haven't done one of these for a long time, and I saw this and I've grabbed somebody's measurements. I'm going to take the navy pieces out to start with. Where can we put them? 1, 2. Some of you will have done this before, some of you might be very new. Basic white cardstock again, and dark blue ones. Okay, we'll have a look in a minute. So I've got an ordinary piece of Whisper White. I'm going to pop, no I'm not, because that's not the right piece. Hang on a minute ladies and, oh that's that way. I keep doing this, I keep frightening myself. I'm going to pop that piece on the top like so, and then that piece is going to go at right angles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this flower. I'm going to bring in the bigger flower and the leaves like so, and I may need the bigger leaf and I may use the other flowers, but you will see in a minute. All will become clear. I just need to get some blocks going, so I just need to pop those on there, and I just need to pop this one on here, and let's pick up my stamps. Now you can put a little bit of Tombow on the back of these pieces if you don't want them to move. I'm going to be very brave and keep everything crossed that it all stays in one place. You'll see why in a minute. Right, so starting with this little flower. Hey, you haven't seen it work yet, Lorraine. It might not work. We'll give it a go. I'm going for this one, keeping everything square. I shall probably regret not gluing it together in a minute, but we're going to stamp right across the whole thing like so. That's the beauty of polymer, you can actually see what you're doing, and if it goes wrong you can do what I'm just about to do and turn over, and that wasn't anything to do with me moving it, that was just because I didn't stamp hard enough. So let's this time keep your thing like so, get some real ink on it. I'm going up here this time, making sure I've pressed all the way down. Not going to move it. I'm going to grab the leaves and the shaded spruce, which I'm hoping actually might disappear tomorrow, but you know what, we'll never know till tomorrow. Oh, can't fit it in. There we go. There's one. I knew I should have stamped it. There, it stuck it. There we go. We're still okay. And then I'm going to get the other flower. You can probably see what's going to happen and I'm going to bring in the Mango Melody. Line it all back up again. Whoops, we've moved. Oh no, we've moved. It's quite easy, it's a bit like doing a puzzle. Just wiggle it back to where you left it. Ah, that's it, there we go, Loobaloo. That doesn't make any sense because that doesn't fit now. Yes it does, there it does. There we go. Bit more yellow. Bit more yellow. And all you're doing is building up a pattern, and I'm going to use that same stamp but in the blue. I just need to get it all off. There we go, and I'm just going to fold up the yellow and pop that one out of the way, and I'm going to bring in this other florally thing. Which one shall I use? And I'm going to use the other one. I'm going to use this one, but I am going to just test it to see what it actually does before I let's try it, because I don't actually know what this one does. Yeah, they're the solid flowers, so I'm going to bring those in over the top here, and then just before I recreate it, I'm going to use the sentiments from the set. So I'm going to bring out this one that says "Dear friend." Just lift the middle piece off, you'll see why I've done that in a minute. Going to use the green like so, and I'm just going to pop it on here. You'll see why in a minute, like that. And then what you actually do, it's really easy. I could have used dark green as opposed to navy, I didn't. Might have looked better, we'll see in a minute. And you start with the largest piece of the navy. You take your next piece, you grab your glue, and this is where you hope you've got it all right. And I'm not convinced, but we'll see. It does work. I'm going to pop that on there like so. I then have two pieces of navy, and I'm going to pop this one on there. I haven't gone mad. If you haven't seen me do this, you'll know why. That one goes on there, and then this one goes on here. Now I think I've possibly not stamped high enough, but we will see if it fits together. And what you're going to do is layer these pieces. So this piece is going to go in here, and you can see that it's going to work. There's the yellow and the blue at the bottom, and this piece goes on here. You can see where it's supposed to be. There we go. And then I'm going to use my glue, quite like the navy actually. Stick these ones back on here, little bit of fiddling, and there we go, and a little bit more fiddling. It works really well with all of these floral stamps. The two-tone fancy floral ones work really well. I've seen that one done beautifully. Just wiggle it about a bit till it sort of fits. There we go. Left a bit, right a bit. Come on, wiggle Tombo. There we go. And then the last little thing I'm going to do is on this tiny strip here is the one that says I've lost it. It says happy birthday somewhere. See, this one. It just says I'm going to use the red sweet sorbet. It just says happy birthday. Oh, I can stamp it better than that. Got a blob. There we go. And these are really nice. These are little sentiments. There's a different technique that I don't do very often. I just grab my trimmer, and you just need to trim this little piece very small, very tiny. It is, you can do it with scissors. I'm not confident enough that I'd actually get a straight line, so it is literally a tiny little piece, a centimetre, like so. Put that down there and use my snips here, and then use some mini dimensionals. This is where these come in really handy, like so, like so, like so. Dear friend, happy birthday. And then that is just going to go onto an ordinary, as I say, white cardstock. You could add all these colours. You could do a yellow one, you could do a green one. It works really, really well. Just a different technique, slightly different, and we must have a few more milky dots, just like so. So if you haven't done this technique, do ask, and I'll put the measurements in the comments later on, or maybe I'll pop them on tomorrow. There we go. So let's clear all my things out of the way so you can actually see what we've done. And there's tonight's second card, which I think has worked really well. There we go. I hope Shaded Spruce goes too. I really do, but I don't know, when you see it like that, it's got a something. So, and then I told you, when I was looking at these stamps, I'm thinking, well, what on earth is this funny little stamp for? And I need to bring, oh, let me just close up these inks. I need to bring in my Stamparatus, and I'm looking for the stamp. The stamp's gone walkabout. So what have I done with this stamp? Well, before we may have a halt here. Oh no, there it is. This is the stamp. So I don't know if anybody knows. Anybody's got this set and has had a play. I certainly didn't until I sat and thought about it and read something. Does anybody actually know? Can you see that? Let's put it on the navy. Maybe it'll show up better. Can you see that little tiny stamp there? No, you can't. Not like that. Try that way, just like that. That little stamp there. I had no idea what you could do with it. I had all sorts of thoughts. Does anybody actually know, while I find the next bits and pieces of whatever, what you can do with it? Because I certainly didn't. I can put them out. You definitely can. I definitely will, Jane. So does anybody know what we use this little stamp for? I might give you a clue, because I've suddenly discovered if I bring in my Stamparatus, which I'm not allowed to say anymore, but if you haven't got one and you want one, get one ordered ASAP. Again, either through me or through one of your other fellow demonstrators. If you pop this little stamp here and you pick it up like so, and I'm going to go for Sweet Sorbet. Thanks, Jane, I will definitely be able to do that for you. Pop that on there, stamp him. Has anybody had a play at this one? Because I hadn't. And then there comes the hinge technique, and lo and behold, you end up with a really very funky little border. Oh, I missed a hinge. There we go, down it goes again. And all I'm doing is lifting the plate out, replacing it, re-inking it, and down it goes. And I've nearly got my piece of card in straight, so it's nearly working, but you get the idea. And then what I'm going to do is close this round, turn this around, pop this back over there, and I'm going to just bring in my cleaning chamois. It's really good fun, Elizabeth, and I didn't know it did it. I wondered what on earth it was for. I couldn't think how on earth I was supposed to be using it, because you get these random stamps sometimes and you really genuinely have absolutely no idea what you're supposed to be doing with them. And then I'm going to take my plate off. I'm just going to make sure that is clean because I want it to be a different colour. Take my plate right off, put my plate back on, pop my stamp where I'd like it this time, a bit nearer the bottom, about there, and I'm going to go for the yellow, the mango, and pick him up again. Let's see what I'm doing. Pick him up, and as I say, if you don't have your Stamparatus, I suggest you get your hands on one. I can say no more. And you can see this one's going down a bit straighter. It's a bit like me. The other one's a bit on a wonk. But in a minute I'm going to show you how I've used this technique to just create a card using a little bit. There you go. And of course you could do that all the way around. You could go all around 4 sides. And so let me just take that off of here. That's how to use that very funny little stamp, and I would never have thought about it till I read something today. So I've done one earlier. I think that's a bit better. I've got an ordinary piece of the DSP, but if you remember I said they have backgrounds, so I'm using the yellow Mango Medley spots. And I'm going to pop this one right down the middle, like so. And then I'm going to use the lovely label punch. I've got a piece here that is 1 inch wide, and I'm going to pop him in there all the way through, and I'm going to do both ends, and that will give me a piece for the middle of the card. You can see what I'm doing. And then I've got another piece that is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going up the same shapes. I've got the same shape on the end and the same shape on the end again, and then that just lies on the top, she says, like so. And if, like me, you think that's still too long, you can just snip him off and poke him back in. That's better. And on there I am going to stamp a sentiment, but I haven't decided which one. I'm going to stamp, not dear friend, I'm going to stamp, oh, thinking of you. Where is it? And this one. You can just see how versatile this stamp set is. And as I say, it's definitely here to the end of April. Can't guarantee how much longer we will have it. We have thinking of, and again, because they're polymer stamps, you can see, so I've jumped that up a bit. See, I was going to do it, drop it down a little bit, slightly off kilter. Thinking of you. Just make sure that's nicely inked. There we go. And then if you wanted to, wherever the flowers have gone, wherever I put the little flowers, here we go. I'm going to bring the little flowers in, and we'll have a little bit of, oh, covered in ink tonight, a little bit of the, a little bit of the sweet sorbet There's certainly an interesting eclectic mix of colours in this suite, and it's taken me a while to actually sort of love it, but I think I'm beginning to. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the flower stamp, literally just to decorate the end of the strip, like so, and let's close that up. I know, and I genuinely hadn't seen it, Elizabeth, and I sat there looking at it and I'm thinking, well, I actually don't know what that does. And then I thought about it and I read something and I thought, oh, it goes with the Stamparatus. And I had a play and I really enjoyed using it. So I've used some dimensionals to raise that sentiment up. It's all very floral and it's all very in your face, but it's quite different. And then this piece is going on here, and you can see straight away that it's lifted the card a little bit from actually what something is just a little bit of paper, a little bit of stamping, but you've created something with a punch and some stamps that's quite unique. Let me just get those bits into my bin. And then I have used the shaded spruce because I've decided I perhaps ought to, just in case it does go. It's quite a good Christmassy colour. It's unusual to be able to use it other times of the year. Seem to have done lots of landscape cards tonight. There we go. That's going to go on there like so. And it's a card for any occasion really, isn't it, that one? Let's just find it some milky dots. And I seem to have eaten those in my sleep. Oh well, we'll use something different, because these aren't milky dots, these are polished pearls, but we'll pop those on anyway. No, we won't, not like that size, just the little ones, little tiny ones. Just a little one up there, a little one down there, and then I will use one of the bigger ones. I'm going to use one big one and two little ones down there. There we go. So there we go, ladies and jelly spoons, as they say. This is the Regency Park suite. If you haven't found it, looked at it, thought about it, maybe you should. So we've made one thinking of you, we've made one like so, and we've made a thanks for all that you do. So thanks ever so much everybody for watching me this evening. I hope you've really enjoyed those. They're slightly different, bit unusual, but the layouts could be copied and used in anything. And I think it's a really nice thing to show you that we can use this. Is brand new to us in January, and yet the colours have been around forever. This is one of the new in colours, and this is one of the new online folders. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, thanks ever so much for watching me. I've really enjoyed doing these tonight, had a little bit of fun getting them all ready. If you do follow my Facebook page, please let me know, either in a message or on the page, what colours you would like to see stay, what colours you'd like to go, and what colours you think we might be getting. I've had a sneaky peep at some DSP. It's very exciting. I know several things. That's also very exciting, and I'll know more tomorrow at lunchtime. And then tomorrow evening we've got a team meeting and we get a sneak preview, because that's one of the perks of a demo. We get a sneak preview of the catalogue. So I do hope you'll join me again next Tuesday. I may have an Easter theme, although I've not been very keen on the Easter stamps that came out this year, but I may be using some of my retired things just to show you how to make some really pretty Easter things. But anyway, take care, stay safe, and keep crafting. Talk to you soon. Bye.